Hi everybody. I wanted to give you a little bit of a tour. We're supposed to get another, I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but they issued another severe thunderstorm warning for this area. High winds, heavy rain, and hail. I just hope we don't get any hail. I don't mind the rain, but I don't want the wind or the hail. But I wanted to show you the progress on my patty pan squash right there. So far, I've got 5 plants that came up. Just waiting for them to get big enough to transplant. My basil right there has come up again. And I'm hoping, since I put it over here under the patio, so it's shaded part of the day, and it's been cooler with these storms, and since I put that potting soil in the top, I got about 2 inches of potting soil in there. That this time my basil will survive, and I'll get some basil plants other than the one plant that I bought. And there's my rainbow tomatoes back there. They're looking good. I mean, I think I'm going to get some plants this time. And there's my yellow pear tomatoes right there. So I think my problem's going to be after this is finding a place to put more plants. I'll have to find a place to put them after I got them growing. But right now I wanted to come out here and, I put yarn on my stakes the other day on the trellises, but I really needed to put something a little bit stronger. So when I was at the store today, I picked up a roll of this twine. It's jute twine. It's pretty strong. I bought some of that one time before and used it, and the plants don't mind climbing on it. So that's what I'm going to put up over here. Get this tripod set up. Don't want to get too close. Get too close, you can't see what I'm doing. I don't have my tripod hooked up right. But that's just crazy weather in Texas. I mean, my son said down his way, not right at his house, they got baseball size hail. He did get quarter size hail at his house. Off and on for 3 days, he said. So, but I think I'll turn this around. That way I can have an idea of what I'm showing you. Just hope you can see what I'm doing. I was trying to get it at an angle to where you could actually see what I'm doing. I think maybe this would be a good angle. But these are my gray totes along here that I put the yarn up to the other day across the top. But it's really not quite strong enough. And I wanted to go ahead and put this stronger twine up here. That way when they climb up to the top, they'll have something a little bit stronger to crawl along. That'll withstand their weight if they get a lot of cucumbers or anything on it. Or even melons, I don't know. Some of them are melons, I think, and some of them are cucumbers maybe. But That's the idea. And I've used this stuff for other projects, so I know it's pretty strong. You can hang picture frames with it on the wall and a lot of stuff, so I know it gets pretty strong. Or it stays pretty strong. It don't get strong. Get over here. And I got something biting me. I should have put my boots on. And I feel just a light misty rain. Not much, but I do feel a little. Not gonna be so funny if this whole thing turns over with me. There, so that should work. Hopefully. All these little vines want to grow down the wrong way. I gotta show you something. It's real. Mosquito got in my face. Whew. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I just hope it stays on the vine until it gets bigger. I may have to come out here and put a little sling under it and tie it up with a string so it doesn't pull loose. And since, look at there how much it rained. My buckets are full of compost tea. And I don't know if I got any room in any of these buckets to pour it. That one's pretty full. And if it rains, they're going to get full again. But I try to keep them empty every time it rains so I don't have mosquitoes back here. Yeah, and I keep rocks in the bottom of the buckets to keep them weighted down so they don't get blown over by the wind. But I'm not sure where I'm going to put some of this. But look at that. I mean, that's good compost too. You know, and that was the runoff from the totes, and that's compost too there. So you don't want it to go to waste. That filled that 5-gallon bucket up. Might have to take this one over to the other buckets. I see some of this lettuce with the eggs laying on it. And I'm just going to pick those off because I don't want those eggs hatching out and getting all over my plants. Get it on there, especially after a rain. It's almost like the rain washes them off on the plants. But you can keep them knocked off, or either the leaves broke off. So hopefully they don't spread all over. My cucumber's not getting enough of something, because I want you to see here. It's turning yellow. I don't know if it's the inconsistency of the rain, the watering, but see how it's turning yellow, especially at the end. The one up at the top hasn't done that yet. And I hope it doesn't. I need to put Epsom salts or something to them, I guess. More fish emulsion or something. But see, that bucket right there is full of compost tea. I can't put no more in there. My squash right there still looks good. It's getting bigger. I'm hoping it'll put out some more. And this is the first time I've planted catnip. And look at there at my catnip. Look how it's grown in all this rain. Look how big it is. And it's just in that little butter container down there that it's sitting in this tote. So anyway, let's see where else we can put our twine. Go ahead and take care of that while I'm out here. Oh, I know, I was going to do it up here. That's why I moved over here in the first place, not so much to empty the buckets, but I would come over here to put my twine up. And see, I don't have one across the top. And look at my vine, it's already to the top of the deal, so I got to put one across there. And again, I'm just going to take this tool, jute or whatever they call it. It's pretty cheap. It's a lot cheaper than some of the other stuff. Whew. I'm sweating like crazy out here. It's not that hot, it's just humidity. Oh, let's see if I can get this up here without... Probably shouldn't have tied it first. Thought I could slip it over the top, but the vine has wrapped its roots around it already. And I don't want to break the roots. Woo! Sweating, y'all. And that vine there needs to come on back this way. Because if I don't, it's going to do like that other vine. The end of it will get burned up. Oh. It's something to be a shorty. Oh my God. At least it'll have somewhere to go. But I need another stake or two over here on this side. Oh, I see. It fell. I don't know how come it to fall. The tape give way for one reason. I had put something up here across here, but the rain, I guess, got that tape wet and it kind of give way. Woo, mosquitoes. Whew, I wish I'd worn my boots. And that's where that was supposed to go. Whew. But it came right out of that tape. It's okay. We'll get it back up there like this. sweating. And I got some more stakes coming that I can kind of sure up that a little bit with it. Should be here at the end of the week maybe. I need to tie it back this way too. So I'm going to leave this plenty long. And it's a slip knot on there. So I'll be able to, don't want to knock the blooms off. Whew. It tickles. I got so much sweat rolling around on my forehead. Maybe that'll latch on. Because that's the another, it's either winter squash or shark fin. Shark fin squash or a winter squash. Because it's got one on it right there. And that'll probably come down. And it does, it can come on down this way. Ooh. But you can see here, the end of that cucumber vine was out here. It was out here last week in that hot sun and it started burning up. And I've been trying to head it back the other way because I don't have anything to shade this with. I need to get some kind of a shade up here. I don't know what to do. I guess I can put a stake here and there and to over there and just kind of like wrap the corner with something. We'll see when I get those other tomato stakes, because I got some pretty good tall ones, so I ought to be able to do something with them. Yeah, my little watermelon vines have got blooms on them. I got another little squash down in there. It's really too small to pick. And my bell peppers, they're full of blooms. Look at that. And I got a little bell pepper right there. Look at that. So maybe I'll have some bell peppers this year. I only got 2 or 3 last year, and they weren't very big because of the heat. But I'm hoping they'll do better this year. I'm hoping we don't have 105 and 110 and 15 degree weather all summer. And see, I've already got this bucket full. Let me put this down. It's kind of hard to hold the tripod and that too, so. And I'm just over here going to try to do something with the water in these buckets because I don't want it left standing there uncovered. Ugh, stepping on my water, I mean my shark fin. bound to get hot and dry on us. And I'll be needing this compost tea to keep stuff watered. I'll need as much water as I can get, probably. Boy, that's going to fill that up to the brim. Yeah, if you use buckets like this, you might have to put a rock down in the bottom of them to keep them from blowing over. Mine blowed over, and I was chasing them across the yard. So that's why I decided to go ahead and put a rock in them. But these things are just vining everywhere, but they're not growing up the things the way I want them to. And I try to be careful, but I break off blooms trying to get them to go up. And I don't want to break the blooms off because that's my cucumbers. Ooh, got another cucumber right there. Oh my goodness, I got 3 of them down there. I didn't see them. My plants always cease to amaze me. And look how much better that squash plant looks since I put a shade up to it for that hot afternoon sun. Well, look at there. I got another cucumber here. And I got 3 of them down in there. See, you might be able to see better on the other side. If I can do something with this tripod. See? There's 3 of them in there. And I'm going to be picking these kind of small because I don't want them to get the seeds to get tough. But it's full of little bitty cucumbers that haven't gotten that big yet. So I'm just going to try to keep it going up the trellis. Maybe it'll latch onto there. See, that's a vine there, and it's full of cucumbers. I mean, it's a vine that's not going the way it's supposed to go. They've always got a mind of their own, unless you help them. And I just got a piece of wood chip between my toes, and it doesn't feel very good. You wear flip-flops out here in wood chips, and you get a wood chip stuck between your toes, it hurts. Now, that one looks pretty decent. But it's still got a mind of its own. You got to keep it trained to go where you want it to go, where it'll start getting a mind of its own and start traveling elsewhere. Just like that, that's growing down. You don't want it to grow down. And I got it too close. Hopefully see what I'm showing you. Oh, cool. Uh-oh. Oh, man. I could even let it go up on this thing if I wanted to, but I really don't want to. In case I need to move the tote for some reason. But I don't want it down in there on the dirt. Want it up a little bit. Because I wanted to get it up off of the ground as much as possible. And planting in totes, that's going to keep the armadillos and the possums and everything else, hopefully, to not eat my plants. And I probably need to stake that better. Like this, it's growing all over the ground. I mean, not the ground, but the dirt in the tote. And I'd like for it to come up a little bit and at least get off of the dirt some. Because I don't want my melons or squash to stay in the dirt down there and cause them to rot. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pour this in my squash over here. And over here in my shark fin. And it looks like the rain kind of blew my torch down. Probably put a cord on that. Whew. But especially after these rains, when that hot sun comes out, beating down on your plants, your vines, it'll burn them up, it'll steam them, it will cook them, because the dirt in the pot will be wet, and there'll be literally a steam that's going to come up out of it. So you have to be careful. Now, I would go pick a couple of those already, but there's one little old cucumber that's yellow. See, that's what happens to some of them. They either didn't get pollinated good or something. Get my cord. Get over here. I mean, I am literally just drenched in sweat. I look terrible. Let me turn this. But see, my shark fin squash, it's already all the way over here from over there in that corner. And it's going all around there. And that one in that corner, look how it's grown since I put that shade cloth up. It's really starting to grow. Now, if I can just keep it consistently watered, we'll have it made. I want to check this cucumber vine. See if I need to reroute anything here. Got a pretty good sized cucumber there, but it's not anything big enough to pick. There's another yellow cucumber. So if they don't get enough water and it's too hot, they'll turn yellow, they'll die. If they get too much water, they'll die. But I need to put a little bit of something to this tomato. I'm not sure how big it's going to get. Not going to put much, but I just don't want it to fall over. Ooh. Gets in my eyes and I can't see what I'm doing. I'll have to tie that tomato before too long. There's actually 2 tomatoes in there and peppers. But I just want to show you something. Remember how you could barely see those rose bushes? Look at that. They're almost completely covering those little logs back there. And that's what I want them to do. I want them to grow tall, and I want them to thicken up and make like a privacy fence all across there. The same way with the ones on the other side. And yeah, my yard needs to be mowed, I've got to admit. But my clematis is really starting to grow. Look at it all up there with blooms fixing to open. Let's see over here what we can do. Because I need to somehow tie and I guess I can make a little hole. In this where I had it taped, and it might help. Just put that cord right through there. And it'll grab onto your finger. For some reason it got so hot that it turned loose. Turn that plastic loose. I think if I tie it like that, it'll hold it. Whew. There. May have to put me a hole in that. Got tomatoes come up all along in those little pots we put peppers in. See, I mean, you don't have to have something extensive. If you got anything at all to shade your plants from that hot sun. And I know if a hard wind comes up, it's going to tear it down, but hey, these are just potting soil bags. I'll just go cut me another bag and put it back up there. I know I've sweated off a gallon of water already. And I didn't check this one. This little one that hasn't grown up too far yet. I think it's doing okay. It looks like it. Yeah. I don't want to keep handling it because I'll make all the buds fall off. The blooms. Whew. But look at that red rose bush. Isn't that pretty? They're all going to be beautiful. All this rain we're getting. Now one. Whew. Let me check these, because that's what I'm doing out here today, is I'm basically checking these plants to make sure they don't need another string to them or something. Whew. That one can wait just a little bit longer. Look at there. I'm going to have to put a stick or something to that tomato plant, because that is not a Tiny Tim. And it come up in there voluntarily. That looks like it might be either a delicious tomato or a grape or cherry tomato. And if that's the case, it's going to go up over that green stalk tower and keep going. It's going to be so big. So I got to keep my eye on that one. And see how that tomato, the wind blew it, that tomato plant, the wind blew it right over on that trellis. And that's okay. I mean, that'll give support to that tomato plant. I would have preferred that it stayed up straight, but let's see. Maybe I can do something with it. I hate to put it in so much of a bind. Whew. But that's what happens when you plant a real big tomato plant and it comes up a windstorm. Even if you got it staked or tied, it's liable not to stay exactly the way you put it. That'll help it a little. And then if it keeps on growing up over there, I'll just let it grow. It'll be all right. And I may end up planting something else in these bags where I had planted those potatoes, because I don't know if they're going to do anything. I haven't had too much luck growing potatoes. Oh, I see something we don't like. My first hornworm of the season. And we got to get him. Got to get him because he can't stay there. Let's see. Where did I see him? Right there. Right there. Look at that thing. He's been feasting away on that tomato plant. He found that tomato plant in the midst of all those, in the midst of all of those beans, and decided he was going to eat dinner. Well, he's coming off of there. He latches on too, man. That's right, you fight that stick. You fight that stick, but you come off of my tomato plant. He's latched on for dear life, I'll tell you. Come off of there. There. Now you come out of there. Now look at that thing. He was getting fat off that tomato plant. That's a hornworm, y'all. That's what you don't want to see on your tomato plants. I only usually see about one for the whole summer. Maybe two. But I get them off as soon as I can, because I do not want them on my plant. And I'm going to throw him over here in the woods. Yeah, you latch right onto there, because you're going elsewhere. He can go chew on those plants over there. You don't need to be on my tomato plant. He was just stripping the leaves off of that good time. Look at those sunflowers. I tied those up the other day because they were leaning. The wind blew them. Kind of blew them over. And I'm probably going to plant something else in that dishpan, because that kale is not looking good. Swiss chard right there is doing real good, but the kale is dying off. And look at that tomato plant. I knew it would start growing as soon as it put down roots good. Whew. Y'all, I'm getting chased by the mosquitoes. But now see that one? I don't know. It don't look good. I'm going to probably replant something in that pot. Whew. Had to empty this bucket. Yeah, it's one thing about having the bucket, you can't leave them with water sitting in them. Because if you do, it just breeds mosquitoes. Yeah, I'm going to have to put something else in that pot and maybe move it under the shade somewhere. I don't think it's going to do too good there. I think it was too far gone by the time I moved it. But look at my okra. It's taken over the eggplant. That tomato bush looks great. And I don't have too much hope for that watermelon. It just don't look good down in there. Just does not look good at all. I mean, it still may come back to life. I don't know. But I don't have much hope for it. Tomato plant there's looking real good. My onions, my walking onions. And all of these are looking good. They got little tomatoes. Yeah, I got 3 eggplants that have survived here. And I didn't realize I'd put any okra in there. But maybe those 3 will survive and I'll have at least 3 eggplant. But look at those. It's full of little tomatoes. Look at there. There's a clump back there. There's some in here. Little one started there. Some of the leaves are turning yellow. I've got little ones here. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have a clump of tomatoes right there. I got an okra here, and I need to cut it. Man, that one just slipped up on me. I didn't see that big old okra. Because if I don't cut it, it'll be too hard. See? And I'll just put it in the house with the other ones I picked. Cut the other day. And there's those brandywines. Look at there. They're growing out of the top again. And my golden jubilee's right behind it. But I'm mainly looking to see if I need to put a cord or anything to these tomato plants. And I probably do need to do something to that one at the corner that's not in the... It's not in the... I mean, I might be able to just put it up in there with the other one. I don't know. Let me put this down so I got my hands free. Like this one that's growing outside. It needs to be like growing inside. So I might tie this on here for right now. At least so it'll have some support. Whew. I'm gonna have to go in and take a shower. I'm completely drenched in sweat. My pants are wet. Oh. And look at that. It's just getting more and more tomatoes on it. I hope they survive and turn ripe. There's that first little one. Well, it's the biggest one on there now. That's a Roma tomato. And look at those up there. And see, one fell off in the pot. And that's where the stray seed come from. I'll leave that in there, and next year I'll have volunteer Roma tomato plants come up from those seeds. I think the rest of these are okay for now. Man, it's hot. That tomatillo plant is really going crazy. And these little grape and cherry tomatoes over on this side. Let's see what we can do with this. I mean, it's inside the cage, but it's leaning part of it out of the cage. Get back in here. There, that'll help. It's supposed to grow up in the cage, not everywhere else. And I see another cucumber. Or I thought it did. It's a leaf. But this one has got to be staked up or tied up. Whatever you want to call it. Because I got two of them growing outside of the cage. So we need to take that back. We've got 3 growing outside the cage. So we need to do something to give them some support. That'll work for right now. And that one gets a little bit bigger. I'll have to tie that one up. But yeah, I do have a little cucumber right there. Am I showing it? Where's my hand? There it is. I can't judge where I got the camera turned. Whew. I gotta fix this tripod. It's not holding the camera correctly. And see, that tomato plant there needs to be tied up. I put the stake there. I don't know why I didn't tie it up. Maybe I thought I did, or I was going to come back with the cord, and I just never come back with the cord. I don't know. Oh, man. But look how it is. You don't want to get it on there too tight because it's got to have room to grow. That's what happens when you have a grape tomato or cherry tomato. The vine grows really tall. That's why I planted a lot of them along this arbor over here. So when it grows up, it can go over to the side. And I don't want you looking at my back. Let me see what you're looking at. I'm just going to tie this up, the top of it. So when the wind blows, hopefully it won't blow it over. And like I said, as it grows, I could go ahead and do that now. Train it from there over to here. It would be so nice if these mosquitoes were gone. I'm just going to tie it to here. give it some support. And go right up here with it. Whew. You see, that wind did a number on my plants the other day. The ones that I didn't have tied up good. This one's doing pretty good, but you can tell the wind was not its friend. Oh. And I need to put a brace in front of that tomatillo. Those things get pretty tall. Just going to tie it right up to there. Oh man. That'll give it some support so it's not out here in the path. And unfortunately, you have to keep doing that with your tomato plants and other plants that are indeterminate that keep growing. The taller they get, the more you got to tie them up. So when it reaches up here, you know, I'll tie it up again. Get my one little okra. But all it's done today is just drip, you know, just kind of sprinkle. It's sprinkling right now. But those are all, you know, they're going up their little trellis pretty good. There's one I see that's not. Oh man. This one is coming down. Needs to be going up and around. Maybe that'll get it to wind around there. And look at my ginger. That little pot of ginger right there. Look how tall it's gotten. That's about 1.5 feet tall. And my squash plant's leaning over. I need a stake to that, so when I get those stakes I ordered, I'll be able to maybe help that squash plant grow up a little bit instead of down on the ground like it's doing out of the pot. Hopefully. Oh, let me put these up here. Because it does need to be lifted up a little. I don't want those armadillos and stuff to come through here and eat them. They'll be eating it. Yeah, but it's amazing what a little bit of shade will do. Get that to go back the other way. It's trying to go up the tree, and it's going up the tree on this side too. I mean, you know, you can't go but just so high with a trellis because you won't be able to reach them. But I don't want them to grow up the tree. I'll let them grow a little ways. But then I'm going to turn them back toward their trellis. See there how it's going up the tree right there? I'll let it go a little ways, and then I'm going to turn it and make it go back toward the stake over here, the trellis. And this one is too. It's starting to grow on the tree. Don't want it to do that. In fact, I'm going to see if I can turn it right now. I don't know if it's long enough to turn. You got to wait till they're long enough, or you can't make them go another way. Pull it off of there. I don't want to break it. There. Woo. Look at there. I got cucumbers up there. I don't want to get them so high that I got to get a ladder to go pick them. But there's one up at the very top up there in the middle. A cucumber. My zucchini's got a bunch of blooms, but they look like they're all male. No, that's yellow squash. I thought it was zucchini. This yellow squash. Well, y'all, I think that's going to be about it. And look at my insolent plant. Look how pretty that's getting. It doesn't like the sun. I need to move it to the other side of the porch so it's in the shade more, so the leaves don't burn from the sun. Because the insolent plant is one like a lot of the other ones. It doesn't like a lot of sun. So I need to get my cord, my okra, and my scissors. But there you go. I mean, that's another look at my garden and how I had to come in after the rain and that little bit of wind we had and make sure everything was still going up their trellises and their little cords and everything is on track. So that, I want to thank you so much if you're watching my video, for taking the time to view the video. Please like my video, share my video, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my video. And if you know of anybody that hasn't subscribed, get them to subscribe, please. And guess what? I hit 1,600 subscribers. I said, woohoo, for me, you know. I said, I want 1,600 more, though. I'm not going to be happy. I need more subscribers. So with that, I want to wish you a good evening. Have a blessed evening, a safe evening. And I will see you on my next one. Bye now.